Hi there. Now we're going to read section 14. The title is What Am I? Paragraph 1. I am God's son, complete and healed and whole, shining in the reflection of his love. That's what we are. Can you imagine saying that with conviction? I know. I am convinced it's the truth of who I am. Sentence number 2. In me is his creation sanctified and guaranteed eternal life. That's my relationship is with my eternal self. That's why I have hardly any fears. Sometimes I have fearful thoughts, but they don't pull me for very long because I don't entertain what is not true, because I have accepted what is true according to what my Father has said is the truth about me. Sentence number 3. In me is love perfected, fear impossible, and joy established without opposite. I don't go around making up my own ideas that oppose the truth that God said is true. That's why nothing real can be threatened for me, because nothing unreal exists. That is why I experience the peace of God. I am the holy home of God himself. Sentence number 4. Listen to this. I am the holy home of God himself. Why? Because I know within me is an altar. And that altar is the space in my heart. That is where God resides. That is the essence of what God is. So I understand and know and feel, and I get to be that. God himself. Isn't that beautiful? I am the holy home of God himself. I am the heaven where his love resides. Heaven, because it's peace within me. I am his holy sinlessness itself. For in my purity abides his own. You see, these statements have to be said with humility, because I have to accept my holiness. I have to accept my sinlessness. And the only way that I came to accept those things was because I began to feel them as the truth in me, as I peeled the layers of the untruths that I believed were who I was according to the ego. And as I peeled those layers, as I let go of those as being in any way, shape, or form my truth, I little by little began to come closer and closer and closer to knowing who I am. And once I had that experience, that I felt it as my truth, and I began to extend it to everybody else, it just has been multiplying since. Paragraph number 2. Our use for words is almost over now. Yet in the final days of this 1 year we gave to God together, you and I, we found a single purpose that we share. Listen to what this is saying. We made the commitment to spend this year to do these lessons one a day. When we came together and spoke about the truth of who we are, the love that we are, our innocence, about the power of forgiveness, about the power of accepting that within us is the voice for God as the Holy Spirit. As we began to decide that we were not going to listen to the ego, we were only going to listen to the voice for love, we shared a single purpose. And in that single purpose, we have bonded. We don't have to be together in person in front of each other, but I feel you. Every time I read these lessons to you, I feel you. And if you feel me as I read these lessons to you, we have shared. We have a bond there where we are helping each other return home. And through this practice, we do it individually in the privacy of our own homes as we're studying these things, and then we go out into the world and we see everybody through the eyes of love. That is how we're changing the world, but it starts with us. That's what's so beautiful, because we're sharing truth, and we go around and we see truth for everybody as well. And thus you joined with me, so what I am are you as well. The truth of what we are is not for words to speak of nor describe. You cannot describe the truth. And we use a lot of words to talk about the truth, but you have to feel it. How do you feel it? You have to accept it as the truth about you. I know it's the truth about you, but you have to accept that there is a part of you that has never been altered, has never been touched by anything that the world has said about you or told you is true about you. There is a part of you that has never been affected by anything that you believe, by your story, by your experiences. There is a part of you that is eternal and waiting for you to acknowledge it, like a little pilot light sitting inside of you, waiting for you to give it permission to expand. The truth of what we are is not for words to speak of nor describe, yet we can realize our function here, and words can speak of this and teach it too. If we exemplify the words in us, we have to acknowledge our holiness, our sinfulness, our purity. We have got to let ourselves receive these words as truth for us. That's what heals us here. Paragraph number 3. We are the bringers of salvation. We accept our part as saviors of the world, which through our joint forgiveness is redeemed, and this our gift is therefore given us. We look on everyone as brother and perceive all things as kindly and as good. We do not seek a function that is past the gate of heaven. We're not attempting to be anything other than exactly how God created us. Knowledge will return when we have done our part. We are concerned only with giving welcome to the truth. Now, all that you are going to allow inside of you is only the truth. Any unkind word is not true about our brothers and sisters, we're going to release it. Any unkind words about ourselves, we're not going to entertain them. We're only going to accept, sit in stillness and accept our holiness, accept our goodness, our purity, our innocence. We are just going to sit and accept that God loved us so much that he sent us, each and every one of us, as bringers of love to the planet. And because we were not raised to remember that, we had no choice but to forget it. And then we begin to wake up when we're ready to wake up, and then we return back to the truth of who we are, forgiving everybody that couldn't teach us what they forgot. But we remember it, and when we remember it, we become the saviors of the world, because we bring salvation through the giving up of condemnation. Paragraph number 4. Ours are the eyes through which Christ's vision sees a world redeemed from every thought of sin. Ours are the ears that hear the voice of God proclaim the world as sinless. Nothing out there can do anything to hurt us, because the world out there is projected from inside of us. If we want to see a changed world, we got to be the change we want to see in the world, so that then eventually what is there begins to be a reflection of what we know is true within our hearts. Ours the minds that join together as we bless the world. We have to join our minds together. We have to believe and know only the one truth. If you have thoughts that are different, if you think something is better than what I think, then our minds are going to be in conflict. But when we all know that we're all the same, made by the same creator, made as love to love and extend love, where can we not get along if we hold the same truth in our mind? And from the oneness that we have attained, we call to all our brothers, asking them to share our peace and consummate our joy. Paragraph 5. We are the holy messengers of God who speak for him, and carrying his word to everyone whom he has sent to us, we learn that it is written on our hearts. Because every single person that comes to us, and you trust that everything happens for a reason, as the Course in Miracles tells us, everything is a lesson God would have us learn. Everybody who shows up in our life experience is there for a reason. They are there to help us see if we know the truth about who we are, as we see them as the truth of who they are, excuse me, according to how God created them. So this is why it says in here, let me read this again. We are the holy messengers of God who speak for him, and carrying his word to everyone whom he has sent to us, we learn that it is written in our hearts. Because once we begin to see the truth in other people, I don't have to stop to think about the truth of who I am. It is written in my heart. It is the truth of who I am. It is what informs me about who I am. Not my ego thoughts anymore, but the truth that is already written in my heart, because that's where God placed it. That's the altar that I opened up and allow myself to feel the love that is already in there. Sentence number 2, and thus our minds are changed about the aim for which we came and which we seek to serve. Instead of thinking like our mind was filled that we came here to work and make money and protect ourselves and save and defend ourselves and be separate and work super, super hard and then one day retire and then we get to have fun. We realize, no. We came here to have fun all the time. From the moment that we are born, if we have conscious parents, we should be enjoying our life experience. And when we come back to the place that we realize that there is nothing that we need to do to prove ourselves, to accumulate anything, we live by trust. We operate in this world knowing that we are eternal. Well, we're all going to eventually create heaven on earth. Eventually, we're going to live from that fifth dimension of consciousness where we are going to want people to do what they love to do because we're going to know that that's God expressing itself through them, whether it's by song, by an invention, by cooking up a new recipe, writing a book, or being a teacher, or being a stay-at-home mom, or being somebody who doesn't want to have kids and just wants to fish. We will know that God is expressing itself exactly as it wants to be. And then we will know without a doubt that everyone is here serving, being that, the presence of God, doing whatever it is that they're doing, because they're not interested in doing it to get something. They're only doing that because they're just being present as God. We bring glad tidings to the Son of God, who thought he suffered. Now is he redeemed. And as he sees the gate of heaven stand open before him, he will enter in and disappear into the heart of God. See, the day is coming, totally coming, when we all know that everything is the presence of God. Everything is consciousness expressing itself. When we know that that is so for each and every one of us, and we may be hundreds of years before this happens so that all of humanity is on board. But the planet knows that. And when we align with the planet in everything is understood that everything is God expressing itself, what happens here? We will enter in and disappear into the heart of God. There'll be no thought of ego. There'll be no thought of fear. There'll be nothing left to make us think that this is not all God expressed. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next lesson.